Hey, folks, welcome to the J&J Sports Express show, where every week we showcase 5 NFL games that all bettors, analysts, and people alike and fans would love to take a look at. My co-host in this is Adam Goldstein. He's filling in for JB Ellis this week. Hey, Adam, how are you today?
I'm good, Jeff. How are you today?
I'm good. You ready to look at some games and get to that schedule? It's exciting. NFL first week, I'll tell you, it's a real exciting time. People are been waiting a long time for this season to start, and it really, it's finally here.
It is. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I'm actually going to one of these games. I'm going to be there in person for
Which game are you going to?
I'm going to be at Tampa Bay at Dallas.
Oh, okay. So that's one of the games we're analyzing. So
yeah,
we're going to we'll get right to the games. First game Thursday night is Buffalo at the Los Angeles Rams. The spread on that game is Buffalo is favored -2.5. How do you like that game?
Just in general, I was looking at these spreads and I found it really interesting that there's almost like no 3-point spreads and no 7-point spreads. It's all 2.5 and it's all 6.5. Not all, but for the most part. And I found that interesting because in a lot of the history that I've had in looking at games and spreads like this, the first week is always tough because that's the real barometer week of, okay, there's all this hype around Buffalo. Are they really legit? Or is this hype, not really as meaningful?
Well, I happen to think that Buffalo is legit. I think they're thinking about the game that they lost to Kansas City last year that they should have won in the playoffs. I like Josh Allen. I think he's taking this team to new heights this season. They're probably going to the championship, if not the Super Bowl. There's one injury that I definitely keep tabs on. It's Tre'Davious White. He's the cornerback. He's out. But they have a solid secondary, and I don't think they're going to miss a beat against the Los Angeles Rams. Rams, on the other hand, Matthew Stafford's elbow is a little sore. We'll see how sore it is during the game when he, starts making those throws, and he's definitely under pressure from the Buffalo defense.
So are you taking the Buffalo -2.5? Is that?
I'll tell you something. I like Buffalo -2.5, and one of the stats I got to tell you is Buffalo is 9-5 as a road favorite in the last 14 games that they've been a road favorite.
That's a good stat.
Buffalo last 5 games. Buffalo versus the Rams. Buffalo is 4-1 straight up, and 3-1-1 against the spread. And here's a stat that I think gamblers and bettors might be aware of. In the last 10 seasons, the Super Bowl winner, week 1, the following season, is 5-4-1 against the spread. So
it's a good stat too. I will say I think that Rams stat is a little misleading because this Buffalo team and this Rams team are really like a different team from the last year and a half than they were in the last 10 years. So I think that stat's a little, misleading. But I like that Super Bowl against the spread stat in the first game. I think that's a really good point to bring up, that there's a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. I think it's a legitimate concern to say you had a much shorter offseason, right? You're partying, you won the Super Bowl, you had an extra 5 games that a lot of teams didn't have, right? So your offseason is a lot more compressed, and it's a lot harder to recover. You had 5 extra games, 4 extra games.
Gamblers love trends. I'll tell you this. I've been analyzing a long time, and the trend is known as your friend.
That's a good one.
And that's a good one. It's so are you saying that you like the Los Angeles Rams in this game?
My concern is just I always have hesitancy with those across-country trips. I know it's the first game, so I think that's a little bit less of a big deal. Versus when you're in the season, you have to travel and there's a lot of, you're spending a lot of your recovery time in the air traveling. So it concerns me that it is a full across country trip.
So it sounds like to me you're leaning towards the Rams.
If it was 3, maybe at 2.5, to be honest, I think the best bet is the money line on Buffalo. That's the bet that I would look at. I think Buffalo's going to win. I'm not confident I think it's going to be a close game. Both teams are good. I think it can be a 3-point game, which is why it's like I lean towards them. I think the money line is the best bet of the four. Against the spread, with the spread, money line for the Bills. I think is in my opinion the best bet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you heard it here first. The next game is Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is getting 6.5. How do you like that, Cam? I'll let you go first.
I think that's a lot of points. It's a division game. There's a lot of question marks on the Cincinnati side. Burrow coming off the appendectomy. I forget who else. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. There's somebody else that's on the injury report. I think it's T. Higgins. They're a young team. Also, again, played in the Super Bowl. Had a very long season, 5 extra games. I think Pittsburgh has something to prove. I think the better coach in this matchup is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had a tragedy in their offseason, so I think they're a highly motivated team, and it's a division game on the road trying to beat the division, the team in your division that went to the Super Bowl.
Well, I'll tell you, I like the fact that Mitch Trubisky is starting. I like it, yes, and I like it, no. Mitch Trubisky has, not had great track record with other teams, but he knows that he's being pushed because Kenny Pickett is the future in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So
he also has made a Pro Bowl. I mean, don't forget that he made a Pro. Nagy ruined him. So
Pro Bowl's voting is not what it used to be. You know,
he had a good season. He had one good season. Then Matt Nagy ruined him, and now he's had a year in the Buffalo Bills offense to learn what it is to actually be a starting quarterback in a legit offensive scheme. Mm-hmm. I like the points in this game. I just do.
I like the points. Joe Burrow's offensive line got some revamping in the offseason. We'll see how that meshes, because just because you have 5 all-stars on you bring together 5 all-stars on an offensive line, they still have to work together. It takes time for an offensive line to mesh.
Yeah.
But if they protect Joe Burrow back there, he's going to be able to do what he wants.
Yeah.
These two teams know each other, so it's not a big question mark as to what teams are going to do. This is definitely the moving on. Pittsburgh's moving on from the Big Ben era. Another stat that I like to throw in there is the Super Bowl loser. The next season, week 1, last 10 seasons is 4-6 against the spread. And by the way, Cincinnati in past seasons doesn't typically play well in September. So they usually do get off to a slow start. I think this is going to be a really good game. Pittsburgh's defense has some holes in it. Last couple of seasons, it hasn't been as good as it has been in the past. There's a lot of bang-ups on both sides of the ball already, but I like Pittsburgh plus 6.5 at Cincinnati. I think the game's going to be closer than what the spread says.
I agree. And I just, whenever you're on the fence too, coaching matters. And I just think the Pittsburgh Steelers have such an advantage at coach. Not that Cincinnati's is not good, just it's Tomlin. I mean, he's never had a losing season. And this is probably the closest where he has a chance to really get to a lose, especially now there being 17 games. I think this is the closest. And I just think they're going to be coming out. They're going to be well coached. I don't think they're going to make many mistakes and unforced errors. And I agree with you. I like the points.
Yeah, Tomlin's a very good coach. I give him a lot of credit. He had the luxury of having a Big Ben Roethlisberger back there for so many years. Roethlisberger is like a gladiator. He played well. He brought the team. He did as much as he could. There were times when the defense let the team down. I just think they need to step it up on defense. Both of these teams know each other. Cincinnati, beat Pittsburgh last season both times, so there's a little bit of a revenge factor there. So we'll see what's what, but I like Pittsburgh in this game to start it off.
Yeah.
The next game, Cleveland at Carolina.
Oh, man. Maybe the most interesting game on the entire slate of all the games is this one. I mean, the revenge game, bad blood game. I mean, whatever you want to call it. This one I think is the most interesting of them all.
Well, Baker Mayfield, he won the starting job in Carolina. He definitely probably is getting the whole team ready for this. I mean, I don't see a lot coming from Carolina this whole season, but this is one game that definitely, Carolina fans have circled on their schedule because it's Baker Mayfield versus the team that basically let him out to dry.
Yep.
And, I think Cleveland's going to pay long and hard for their decision to go after Deshaun Watson, but that's definitely another conversation for another day. But he's out. Jacoby Brissett is in. He's basically like a fill-in, but he's also auditioning himself, because if he really does well in the 11 games that Deshaun Watson is not going to be there, he could possibly take another team, as the starting quarterback somewhere. If he does really well in his audition with Cleveland, we'll see what happens, because there's a lot of good parts. Cleveland has a lot of good parts. It's just a matter of taking the team and directing it in the right direction. But Cleveland also is a little bit banged up, heading into the season. This game itself, the spread has actually moved to Carolina -2, and it's basically a toss-up. But I think the motivational factor for Baker Mayfield will be getting his whole team ready and saying if they win one game this season, this is the game they want to win.
I think Carolina, I think people are down a little bit on too much on Carolina. Carolina, if you remember, came out hot last year. I think they went 3-1 in their first 4 games. That Darnold looked awesome, and then Christian McCaffrey got hurt, and it went downhill from there.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, let's put it this way. Carolina, wins and loses with Christian McCaffrey, because they do rely on him a lot.
He's healthy. He's healthy. He has an actual quarterback.
A lot of pressure off Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. And
whatever quarterback is there, and he adds excitement to the game. So I think that Christian McCaffrey being there, this game, I think Carolina has a good shot at winning.
I think Carolina is going to – I would take an alternate line at -4 or 5. I think Carolina is going to destroy them. Not destroy them, but win comfortably. That's a better way to put it. They're at home, Baker Mayfield revenge game. They're not going to go easy at any point. They want to win this game. Cleveland doesn't have a quarterback. Jacoby Brissett is a known commodity. It's not like he's a new guy. He was on the Colts. He auditioned before. He's a backup level quarterback. That's who he is. That's why they were sniffing at taking what's his name from the 49ers. Oh my God, I can't remember. Jimmy G. Yeah. That's why they were looking at that and trying to bring him in, because Cleveland has a Super Bowl roster other than now at quarterback. They have a great defense. They have one of the best defensive lines with Myles Garrett. I mean, he's a savage beast. They have a great offensive line. They have a great run game. But the problem is,
though, sometimes the defense with Cleveland doesn't show up. They let games slip away.
But, I mean, that was with Baker Mayfield, too. And when you have a guy like Deshaun Watson, it's a little bit different, because Baker Mayfield is definitely not Deshaun Watson. Baker Mayfield, I think, is more akin to an Eli Manning, whereas Deshaun Watson is more like he's a top 5 quarterback when he's healthy. I mean, he just is. I'm not a fan of Deshaun Watson by any stretch of the imagination. If you watch me on both sides of the coin, I have discussed that at length. But in any event, he is a dynamic player at the quarterback position. That's why he got paid. Jacoby Brissett is not. And when you are a run team that's one-dimensional, because they don't have wide, I mean, they have Amari Cooper, but other than that, their wide receivers are okay. They're a run team only. I think it boxes you in significantly. And I think they're going to struggle until Watson comes back. And I think this game.
I think they're going to struggle even when Watson comes back, because Watson hasn't played in a year and a half. And you could practice all you want. You just, the game is a whole different ball game. That's why
I don't disagree.
Preseason is preseason.
Yep. I don't disagree with you. I still think if they are a 500 team with the extra playoff teams that make it, by the time Watson comes back, if they just need to get in the tournament, they get in the tournament, they're going to be dangerous. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, Carolina, take the points. If you can get an alternate line and push it a little bit up, get a little bit better value, I would. I like that play a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I like Carolina in this game. I think they're definitely going to win by at least 7. So I like the game. The fourth game we're looking at, you got to take the Raiders at the Chargers.
Yeah,
the line on this is it says here 3.5. It's moved down to 3.
I was gonna say I've seen it
switch. Yeah, I thought it was 3, but that's okay. Your thoughts on the game?
This, I think, is the hardest of all the games that we have to pick. I think this is the closest game, maybe of the week. And I think that -3 going to the Chargers, aka the home team, I think shows that, this is the one that's really it's challenging. There's a lot of new faces on both sides of the ball. You have another year of experience with the Chargers. You have Khalil Mack, who's a dominant force. You have a healthy team. And then on the Raiders side, you have Devontae Adams, and you have a whole new regime. Now, what tips me over in this is the last game of last year. If you watched it, the Chargers botched it. They should have tied the game, kept the ball, and not given the Raiders a chance to go down and score and go into the postseason. They messed up. And I think that's sitting with the Chargers. I think they're going to be extremely motivated, and I think they're going to go out and win this game.
Well, I got to tell you, I kind of disagree with you, because I think the Raiders on the other side are they've added a lot of good pieces. Khalil Mack, we'll see how much he has left in the tank. Last couple of years, he hasn't been doing much. He started out with the Raiders, and he was really an all-pro. Last couple of years in Chicago, he was writing it in. I don't think he was as dominant as he was in the past. We'll see if he,
bad team.
Well, you still got to play. You still got to perform.
We'll see.
I mean, he's getting paid the big money. He's got to perform. Now he goes to the Chargers. He's got Joey Bosa on the other side. If he really does his job, they're going to be a force. If he just went in like he did in Chicago, Joey Bosa could be double teamed and Khalil Mack could get the single coverage, and it's not going to be a big deal. And that's, something I see as maybe a problem. Which Khalil Mack is going to show up? We'll see week 1. We'll see week 2. We'll see the rest of the season. On the other side, you got the Raiders, Devontae Adams. I mean, that's the steal of the offseason, one of the steals that I saw.
I don't know.
I think listen,
who made who? It's like Tyreek Hill and Mahomes. Who made who? Did Tyreek Hill make Mahomes, or did Mahomes
Well,
make
we're going to
Tyreek
see.
Hill?
Devontae Adams is a very good, if you could play under the scrutiny of Aaron Rodgers, you could play under anybody. Because
I don't disagree.
To play with Aaron Rodgers, you have to have complete discipline, because he runs the show. He tells you what to do. Not too many people are lining up to play with Aaron Rodgers, but when they do play with Aaron Rodgers, they know they got to catch the ball. They know they got to run the routes. They know, you're getting a disciplined receiver in Devontae Adams.
But are we? Yes. He left there because of how awful Aaron Rodgers was. I mean, that's why he left. Now he got paid. Like, is this the Khalil Mack, 2.0? You go to the next team, you get paid, and you start, not caring as much, not being as disciplined.
I think it's a good addition. I think Derek Carr needs some more, some more tools. I'm just a little worried about the offensive line. We'll see how they hold up.
Their defense is. I think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts, because I think their defense is mediocre at best.
Well,
I don't think
the addition of Chandler Jones definitely adds a lot of.
It helps. It helps
a lot.
Have a career
it helps a lot.
Year, I think that there's a lot. This is one of those. I will say, I think the Raiders have a lot of hype going into the season. I think they're going to be good. I think they're just going to be a borderline playoff team. I don't think they're going to be a 12-5, 13-3 team.
I'm not too convinced about Josh McDaniel. He's, he had a tour in Denver a few years ago. Didn't work out.
He went back to
New England. What?
Didn't work out very well.
Right. It didn't work out too well. You're saying we'll see what happens. I mean, Josh McDaniel, this is basically his last shot as an NFL coach. If it doesn't work out here, it's not going to, he might as well just go back to being an offensive coordinator in New England for the rest of his career.
And this is the best offense he definitely has ever had. Now, granted, he's had Tom Brady, but I mean, maybe you could say 07 with Randy Moss. But in terms of a complete offense, he's got a really good running back. He's got a great tight end, a great wide receiver. He's got Hunter Renfrow, who's his Wes Welker, who's his Julian Edelman. Like, he's got his tools in place.
Right.
This is his opportunity.
The offensive line has to do their job, because they gave up a lot of sacks against Jacksonville.
Which is going to spell disaster.
5 sacks.
Disaster. If you have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on the other side, it's going to be disaster. And that's
I'll tell you something. I like the Raiders in this. In fact, I tell you why also. One of the trends I see is in the last 25 games between the Raiders and the Chargers, the dog is 18-5-1 against the spread with 1 no line. So you look at that and you say, you know what? Even though they play and whoever's getting the points is something you want to consider. So that's something that, you know.
I agree. I like the line a lot better at 3 than I do 3.5. But I think this is also another one of those games where if I'm going to bet this one, I'm going to put it on the money line, the Chargers. I think that the Chargers are going to win this game. I do think it's going to be close, but I think that this one is going to be the Chargers. So that would be my bet in this one, is the money line to the Chargers.
I like the Raiders coming out of here. I think they're going to steal one here. I like, Josh McDaniels. He has to set the tone. If he gets beat badly by the Chargers, it's not going to look good for the Raider faithful. I mean, it's going to look like, oh, what did they do? They made a big mistake, and it's not going to look good. I think they're really going to come out well. I think it's going to be a really tight game. It might come down to a field goal at the end, but I think the Raiders prevail in this game.
So you like the Raiders money line, not the points?
I like the Raiders plus the points.
Okay, so you like the points. You like the spread. Fair enough.
So, okay, Sunday night game, the game that you've been waiting to talk about the whole time.
I've been waiting to talk about this one.
I am
excited.
And I just checked the line. It's already Dallas is at home getting 2 points. I know it says -1, but that's okay. It's like I tell people the point spread is like interest rates. If you shop around, you'll find one you like.
Especially when it's at that 1 or 2 line.
Right. Even 6.5, 7, 7.5. Sometimes spreads move around. But this game, Sunday night, there's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, I'll get started. So I think the biggest issue in this game, and this was a season opener last year. I watched that one too. I think this is going to come down to offensive line play. And I think that's going to be the story of the Buccaneers for this whole entire season. Tom Brady lost 2 Super Bowls because of pressure. He got him off his spot, and that's the Super Bowls that he lost to the Giants both times. And his entire interior of his offensive line, guards, center, are not only at their backups, they're at their backups. I mean, it is completely decimated. And that center position makes a big deal too, because he's the one calling protections. Tom Brady's 45 years old, and he's the GOAT, undisputed GOAT. With that said, he is going to get knocked off his spot. And if that's the case, if I'm Dallas, that's what I'm going to do, is focus on getting him knocked off his spot. Dallas is going to bring Parsons. They're going to bring DeMarcus Lawrence. They're going to bring pressure. That's what they do, and that's how they're going to win this game. I like Dallas in this game. I'm obviously biased. I'm a Cowboys fan. I think that this game is going to come down to that specific instance of pressure up the middle, and I think that's what's going to win them the game.
Well, I happen to think that Tampa Bay's offensive line is going to be a problem as well. It's been decimated by injuries. Tom Brady's not, he's not a young chicken anymore, and the problem there is that he's never been one of those quarterbacks that's been very mobile. Now, if you put pressure on Tom Brady, obviously, anybody's going to make mistakes. If you let him back there with enough time, he's going to pick you apart. On the other hand, Dallas's offensive line has also had problems too. They had a couple of injuries this offseason as well, and that's going to be a problem for them as well. I see this, and I'm sure they're thinking about the game last year that they should have won. It came down to the wire. They lost by like 2 points or so.
3 points. It was a field goal.
Yeah, it was. So this game, I think there's pressure on both sides for the offensive line. With Dallas, there's pressure on Mike McCarthy. There's pressure on Dak Prescott, and I think Ezekiel Elliott needs to get going. I don't
think there's any pressure on Dak. He's paid. I don't think there's any real pressure on him anymore. I think that's the problem, to be honest with you, is that what happened last year is there wasn't pressure on him. He got a little too comfortable last year after getting paid. I think there's pressure on Zeke. I agree with you on that, but I will say this. You like trends, right? Well, here's a trend for you. Tyron Smith hasn't played a full season since 2015. So it's not like this is an injury that's brand new. They haven't dealt with before. They weren't expecting, they overdrafted a left tackle in the first round of this year's draft because Tyron Smith is a walking piece of glass. and he has been for a while. So I'm not saying he's not great when he's on the field, because Dak's stats when he's on the field are immensely better than when Tyrone Smith is off the field. So that's not my point. My point is just that I don't think, in terms of, the way things matter, I think that this is a lot less of a big deal compared to how decimated Tampa Bay's offense.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with you there, but it's definitely a concern. And
it's a concern, 100%.
There's always, let's put it this way. I'm not, I know Dak is getting paid and everything, but there's always pressure to win. Okay.
Of course.
Because he did not make he made some bad decisions in the game in the playoff game last season. He didn't see about the clock, and he ran with the ball, and he shouldn't have,
I was at that game too. I was there.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. And that shows that Dak still needs a little bit of coaching on top of it. There is pressure on top of Mike McCarthy to win from Jerry Jones. There always is.
Undoubtedly. He is
this season, definitely. If there's any kind of
he should have been fired last season. I'm beyond upset that he was not fired last season.
12-5 is still a good year for a lot of people.
Yeah, Clapper could have got 12-5 though. That's the problem.
And the thing is that I think this season though they're going to have less wins. I actually picked them to go under.
I agree.
But Ezekiel Elliott also would like to get going. I like Dallas in this game. I really do. I think it's going to be a good game to watch. If there's if there's a lot of turnovers on either side, then it's going to be a runaway.
Yeah.
But I definitely like Dallas in this game to win outright at home.
Yep. I like the money line too.
Stadium Sunday night.
Yeah, I like the money line in this one. Opening night in Dallas. The atmosphere is going to be electric. I'm excited to be there. I'm going to be right up close and personal. So I'm very, very excited to be there. I'm taking my 7-year-old, so he's very excited too. I think that this game in particular, I just see Dallas winning. I like the money line bet. I think it's a good bet for this slate of games. So just to recap it, I think we agree on like everything except for the Raiders and Chargers. I think we were pretty much in.
We both like Carolina. We both like Dallas. I think you like the Rams though against Buffalo.
Yeah, that's right. We did.
I like Buffalo.
I said I like the Rams money line. You said you like the
points. The fact that they're a favorite. I like Buffalo. I like Buffalo to win outright. I like them to cover. I think there might be a little bit of I'm curious to see how Matthew Stafford's elbow holds up to pressure.
Right. No, I agree with you. I like Buffalo money line. I said I didn't like the points. That's what it was. I like Buffalo money line. I agree.
I want to thank you very much for filling in this week, Adam. It was a pleasure. I got to tell the viewers there that all my games that I review, I analyze every game on my own website, jeffcadillac.com. You can view it as of tomorrow morning. They'll be posted. I'm also writing for sportskeeda.com this season. There'll be some games posted with them as of tomorrow. And, hey, everybody enjoy the games, Adam, and, have fun at AT&T Stadium. And we'll see JB here next week.
Sounds like a plan. I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much. As always, you ever need tax help, hit me up, AdamGoldsteinCPA.com. Help you with those winnings. Make sure you're writing off your losses. Just give me a shout out.
Okay.
Awesome, guys. Thanks again.